Hi, I'm Julius Davis. I was born January the 1st, 1958 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I suffer from a disease called alcoholism. At a very young age, I remember seeing my mother. I think I was about 5 years old. I seen my mother would go in the closet and she would come out with a glass in her hand. And I thought, she would change. She wasn't the same person she was earlier that day. So with my curiosity, I followed her one day, and when she turned her back, I went in this closet and I found a bottle of alcohol in there. And I climbed in the closet and took my first drink. And I was never the same again. I fell in love with this feeling that I felt like I just felt empowered. I felt in control. I felt out of control. As time went on, I started first grade at 5 at Catholic school. She put me in Catholic school. So I really didn't have a childhood because I suffered from hernias when I was young. So she had to carry me from the age of 2 to 3. So I got very attached to her. When I did start walking, like I said, I started Catholic school at the age of 5. And that was too early for me, really it was, because what happened was I lost a lot of my childhood because I had to be responsible for a lot of things because she was a working mother. She did domestic work. And I remember this alcohol that she had in the closet. It was sweet, and when she mixed it with milk, it turned into chocolate milk. So I always thought it was chocolate, but I just felt so relieved when I drunk, and I fell in love with this alcohol. First grade, I became an altar boy. I remember back then, we talking 63, 64, 1963 and 1964. My mother, we always lived with somebody, and I remember at 6 years old, I was sexually abused. And, I carried that around with me so long because I felt that it was my fault. And alcohol took me out of that thought. It always made me aggressive. It always, I was always angry. I always wanted to fight, and alcohol just gave me that courage that I needed. I never shared that story with anyone, but as I grew older and I got into more trouble, mostly doing violent crimes, hurting someone, it all extended from the abuse, the sexual abuse. And I didn't know at the time that the secrets keep you sick and the alcohol only numbed them feelings at that time. And as I got older, and I think I walked around in the wilderness about 45 years, just constantly drinking, getting into trouble, always violence, always when I got arrested, it was behind alcohol. I think at about 55, when I turned 55, I was at a bar in York, Pennsylvania, and I got into a fight with a guy, and I pulled out a knife and I stabbed him. And let me tell you, I got 2.5 to 5 years for stabbing this guy. My record was already at its worstest. They sent me to Pine Grove up in Pittsburgh, and it's a little town up there not too far from Indiana County, which is a little college town. But they have a jail right behind there. And when I got up there, it was nothing but juveniles there. And when I walked around and I seen all these juveniles that were lost from alcohol, from drugs, from abuse, from abandonment, all these issues were caused through parents that drank and used drugs. See, it was a whole different generation in the 80s and the 70s. These kids were really lost. And I believe one night I was just laying in my cell and a revelation came to me and said, you need to be helping these young kids. They had no guidance. They had nowhere to go. They had nobody to turn to. I then started taking these courses. It was called Change Your Values, Change Your Ways of Thinking. And I went into these courses and I went to AA meetings and I got a sponsor and I started working the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous, NA. NA is Narcotics Anonymous. And I just really started to learn who I was. And I learned that secrets keep you sick. And I had hid these secrets behind me so long that I took them out on the world. I even thought that my color wasn't good enough. I always wanted to be white because I thought the white kids had better things than me. But that was just the alcohol. It was mainly the alcohol. And when I did alcohol, I wanted drugs. It was always something higher. I was always searching for something more. And at the end of the day, I looked around and seen all these young kids that was incarcerated for killing their grandmother because they didn't buy them a pizza, or just shooting guns and just hurting people and killing police officers. I pulled up my pants and strapped my boots on tight, and I changed my old ways and my behaviors. I had to go in and change my whole core values. I had to go back and re-change all that. Men ain't supposed to cry. That was a value that I believed, which was wrong. Men are supposed to cry. What goes on in the home stays in the home. That's another value that's not true. You need to share these experiences with people that can help you. I mean, all these core values I came up under, and they were just core values that are not true. And I had to go back in and change everything. I had to change my way of thinking. I had to change everything about myself. Today, I am 59 years old. I did 2.5 years incarcerated upstate Pennsylvania, and I'm not the same person today. I learned to love myself today. I got me a sponsor. In order for me to love someone else, I had to learn to love me today. Today, I love myself. Alcohol is not a part of my life today. When I get up in the morning, I know exactly where I'm going, what I'm going to do, how I'm going to get there. I have a routine that I go by. I have mentors that I check in with. I have an all-star lineup today. This disease of alcoholism is legal. I mean, like, you can go in the state store and buy beer, you can buy liquor, and it is the #1 drug out there today. Alcohol is the #1 drug. I just thank God that my body is not mangled up. I have no diabetes. I have, my liver is functioning well. I'm not taking any medication, and my blood pressure is normal. That's because I made a decision to stop drinking and drugging. I gave up the whole street life. I make phone calls when I do feel like drinking. Now, don't get me wrong. Some days I feel like I want a beer, but I don't pick up. I call somebody, and it does pass. You know, like that disease of alcoholism, it'll never go away, but it can be arrested. You know, and I just thank God, my God, that I don't have the desire to drink anymore, or drug, or live the street life. I am totally happy today. I take one day at a time. I live seasons from seasons. I don't worry about next year. I don't worry about what happened yesterday. I take one day at a time. And if I can get through that day, I know it's a better day tomorrow. And I'm just glad to be here today to share my story, some of my story. The book hasn't finished yet. It still goes on. But thank you.